Thank you for tuning in. What I want to do today, I want to talk about the white hats. I hear a lot of people talking about the white hats, but I don't think anyone is actually given a breakdown about who and what do they do. So let's start with the first part. Like who are the white hats? White hats are individual, often hackers, cybersecurity expert, whistleblowers, or insiders who use their skill and access to protect the public and expose corruption. Unlike malicious hackers often called the black hats, white hats operate with integrity, guided by a sense of justice and responsibility. Their actions may not always be public, but their mission is clear: defend truth, protect people, disrupt system that exploit or harm humanity. What do white hats do? White hat works in many areas, from digital security to global transparency. Some test softwares and networks to find vulnerability before it can be exploited. Others dig deep into hidden files, leaks, or encrypt system to uncover evidence of fraud, surveillance, or abuse of power. In some cases, white hats risk their careers or even their lives to leak information about government overreach, illegal warfare, or human right violation. They work in the shadows because often they face challenges with powerful system. Many white hats operate um, anonymously. Basically, you would not know their name and their faces, and you'd be hard pressed for you to find them. To be honest with you, because they tend to stay out of sight, but they're in the background. Some are part of a loosely organized group. Others work alone. They may collaborate with investigative journalism, nonprofit, or underground networks to bring truth to light. Their tools range from code encryption to satellite data, artificial intelligence, but what truly sets them apart is their motivation. They act not for profit or power, but for principle. Let me repeat: what separates the white hats and what is a driving factor for them, what motivates them. It is not money. They don't do this for money. They don't do this for fame. They don't do this for fortune. They don't do this for cloud chasing. They do this for principle. Okay, they do it for justice. They do it for fairness. Why do they matter? In areas of deep fake. So we are like in the era of deep fakes. And as we can see a lot of deep fake because of AI. It's a lot of it. We are we are swimming in an ocean full of fake news. We are just swimming, man. We are inundated with it left and right. We're getting it. We're catching it. It's a plague. It's an outbreak. Deep fake news. Mass surveillance, digital warfare. White hats are more vital than ever. They serve as a last line of defense in a world where corruption can hide behind firewalls and propaganda. And that's typically how corruption hides. They always have a firewall that's heavily layered in propaganda. Whether stopping a cyber attack, exposing hidden war crimes, or defending activists from spyware, white hats prove that one person, army with the right tools and the right cause can make a global impact. They are a force for good. White hats may receive public reward or statues, but their influence shaped the world quietly. Okay? Let me repeat that back again for you. Recap. I misquoted that last sentence. White hats may never receive public awards or statue, and I can even go as far as say artifacts. And for me, the more I live, what is an artifact? Artifacts would be like trophies, certificate, plaques. Um, it can even be food. It can even be like little stickers. Even that's an artifact. Okay. For me, I find like the older I get, like awards are more insulting than not, because one minute you give you praise, then they dripping you with all this stuff. You got all this drip, 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 and the next day it's like you didn't do anything. They can throw your little rump out of there, like you're a nobody. Um, they remind us that the right fight for truth, freedom, and justice isn't always fought with an army, but sometimes it's fought with code, courage, and conscience. In a digital age full of danger and deception, white hats are the light in the dark, protecting humanity, one encrypted message at a time. So I want to get more into it a little bit more. So I took my time to actually really get into it, to be honest with you. All right, let me just go ahead and give a breakdown of it. I went into the beginning like what it is that they do, but I want to give a little bit more exposure of it. Like for example, the rise of the white hats. In a world where digital warfare, surveillance, corruption have become everyday realities, a quiet resistance has emerged, the white hats. These are not your average hero. Wait a minute, lost my place here because I wrote it down. Um, these are not your average heroes. They don't carry badge or fight on a battlefield. Instead, they operate through code, data, and deep integrity. Fight to defend truth in a most hostile of digital environment. Defenders of the digital frontier. White hats are ethical hackers, cybersecurity professional, whistleblowers, insiders who use their knowledge and access to protect people, expose lies, dismantle dangerous system, whether they're preventing a cyber attack or a leak document that reveal government wrongdoing. Their work often occur in the shadow, but it's important, but its impact, and it's important too, but the impact of it is felt worldwide. Beyond shaping the stereotype, white hats are not just wearing hoodies, they're not hunched over computers. They are trained professionals, such as engineer, analysts, former intelligence officers. They work in large institutions, often a young digital native guided by powerful moral code. What unites them is the refusal to stand by while corruption and abuse go unchecked. Now we have to understand that their ethic set them apart. The white hats, it is their ethics that makes them the cat meow. And wherever there's white hats, you better believe there'll be the black hats. Now, just for me to do a little contrast between them. White hats are not motivated by money, okay? They're not motivated by fame. They don't cloud chase. Um, they stunt. They don't come in front of the camera. They don't do interviews. You hear other people that may know of one or two that will tell you, "Hey, I spoke to one, blah 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 blah," and they do have some kind of loosely organization. Some a little bit more well defined, more formed than others, and there are just some of them are just lone wolf. They're like, "Hey, I'm over here doing my own thing. Don't come over here and mess with me. I don't want you getting in this, and I can't trust you," because they have a higher alert bell than most people, and that they may have been hurt in the past. Okay, um, so there is like a big difference between them. Far as the black hats, everything they do is for profit. They sabotage. They're about power. They're about cloud chasing. They lie through their teeth. The black hats. Woo, woo, woo. I'm gonna have to do a whole different piece about them because they're a whole piece of work. The black hats. Ooh, the black works. The black hats. A whole piece of work. The white hats, they expose government abuse. Far as when they're whistleblowing, like when it comes to human rights and stuff like that, they fight with corporation far as they show hidden crimes when it comes to finance. They shine light on unethical business practice that hurt people, economy, and the planet. They protect like civil liberties and stuff like that. They use the tool to secure communication, defend, help people defend themselves against spyware. They alert the communities when digital rights are being threatened. They Many white hats work legally with organization. You know, they're hired to test system vulnerabilities, prevent cyber attack. And so basically, the danger they face is that they can lose their job if they're found out to be a white hat. And they could also lose their job if they whistleblow. They can lose their job if there are powerful interests involved. Like if they plan to shine light on powerful interests, you can bet your bottom dollar if they found out that they will lose their job. They're pretty much anonymous and untraceable. So they don't like to leave any trace, any cookies, anything that you can um you know backtrack to where they're located, what kind of tools they use. So they like to leave clean, no evidence that they were there. Their tool of resistant, the white hats toolkits include penetrating testing software, open source intelligence source, um, virtual private network, secure message platform, blockchain from top tamper proof documentation. Their greatest weapon is the truth. This is not just a movement, right? And the white hats work as part of a larger communities, or they can work with like little networks and stuff, but they're loosely organized groups that collaborate across borders, such as Anonymous. And you guys have heard of Anonymous, right? Wink, wink, wink. So Anonymous is probably the biggest white hats operation. Independent Transparency Network. Some of them work with NGOs, journalism, digital right organization. They do have a global impact, right? Like when you see there is some kind of sensation around a person that was doing bad, doing things that weren't too nice, or you see sparks of global protests all over the place. During catastrophe, like natural disaster, like they let you know where the ball was dropped. That's them, like, hey, that shouldn't have happened, or this occur, and that shouldn't occur. So that's them. They do some good work, right? And then also, if you wanted to know more about that, you can do an in-depth research on them. I just wanted just to touch a little bit on this because I hear people talking about it, but I don't really see them so much telling people like who the white hats are, like what exactly do the white hats do. I don't really see they doing that, to be honest with you. So that's why I am taking this time to explain it. If you like this, please subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for being part of the audience. Bye.